obviously knew that they would end up in LA because that was Meghan's dream. Her dream was to be an A-lister, and she was unable to make it to those two. Go over there. Her race is not discernible by the eye. If she walked in, you would never say Meghan Markle is a black woman.
And I mean that, and I'm saying heartfelt, just so you know. That is the best case scenario, is that Harry is a victim of his own people.
Stop everything for a second, because you won't believe what just went down at this exclusive private dinner in London. Picture this: a glittering Mayfair restaurant, the kind of place where the walls have seen more secrets than a palace. The atmosphere? Electric. Every table buzzing with laughter, clinking glasses, and whispers about the royals. And right there, in the center of it all, sits her Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York. Fergie, the woman who's seen it all, lost it all, and somehow keeps finding her way back. She leans in, her eyes glimmering with that mischievous spark, and drops a comment so explosive that the entire room freezes. Forks midair, glasses half raised, the kind of silence that makes your heart skip, because what she just said wasn't gossip, it was a bomb. A perfectly timed, casually delivered grenade wrapped in a smile. And the best part? Everyone in. That room knew exactly what she meant, because before Meghan Markle ever wore a tiara, before she ever held Harry's hand at royal events, her world was something else entirely. We're talking Mediterranean yacht parties, the kind where billionaires mix with Hollywood stars, where champagne flows. Like water and names are currency.
Perception survives. Soon, old photos began resurfacing, grainy shots from luxury boats,
And according to whispers that just refused to die, Meghan knew how to work those rooms. The question is, how did a girl from Deal or No Deal end up in the same elite social circles as Prince Andrew, and later get introduced to Prince Harry through the one woman the royals wish the world would forget? Believe it or not, it all connects through one person, someone nobody talks about out loud. So when Fergie made that comment at dinner, it wasn't random, it was surgical. Calculated. A perfectly delivered reminder that while she may not wear a crown anymore, she still holds the matches, and she just struck one. Before we get into how deep this really goes, brace yourself, because what's coming next? It's wild. This story connects worlds that should have never overlapped.
With a long history of ruffled feathers, one of her latest public attention grabs has been in the form of supporting...
It's a quiet London night outside, but inside that Mayfair dining room, the air is thick with tension and champagne. This isn't your average dinner crowd, it's royal adjacent. Invitation only, no phones allowed. Everyone there knows the game. One wrong word, one loose tongue, and tomorrow's headlines write themselves. Fergie's sitting there, that sly little smile on her lips, the same one that's carried her through scandals and comebacks. She leans forward, voice soft but sharp enough to slice the room in half. And then she says it, something about Meghan and Andrew. Just a few words, but it's like an explosion in slow motion. You can practically hear the fork drop. Laughter dies in midair. Every face turns, pretending not to listen, but desperate to catch every syllable. Because when Fergie talks about someone being introduced to Andrew during the Yacht days, everyone knows exactly what that means. And get this, she wasn't angry, not bitter, just calm, composed, and devastatingly deliberate. Because Fergie doesn't slip. Every single word that comes out of her mouth is a chess move. That dinner wasn't casual, it was strategy.
There's always been a strange parallel between Sarah Ferguson, Duchess of York, and Meghan Markle, Duchess.
See, in the royal world, perception is everything. A few words in the right room can shift entire reputations overnight. And Fergie? She just planted a seed that was about to bloom into a full-blown scandal by morning. So let's rewind a few years to when Meghan's life looked nothing like the royal fairy tale she'd later step into. Before the tiaras, before the global fame, Meghan was hustling hard in Hollywood. The bills didn't pay themselves, and the gigs were small. Blink and you'll miss her roles. Commercials, the famous Deal or No Deal briefcase girl moment. She was trying, really trying, to make it. Acting classes, modeling, whatever it took. Then came Suits, steady work at last. But that paycheck wasn't palace level. Hollywood success is rarely what it looks like.
Been so kind to Morgan. In 2018, when the media personality interviewed her on Good Morning Britain, she snapped, "Get along."
And that's when another kind of opportunity appeared, the kind not listed on IMDb. We're talking Mediterranean yacht parties, those ultra-exclusive gatherings that blur the line between high society and fantasy. You can't just get in, you have to be chosen. The whispers started early. People claiming they saw her traveling to private islands, mingling with the kind of men who signed billion-dollar deals before breakfast. She wasn't famous yet, but she knew how to be remembered. Confident, ambitious, magnetic. The kind of woman who could walk into any room, no matter how rich or powerful the crowd, and look like she belonged there. And that's where things start to get interesting. Because those yacht summers, they weren't just about fun. They were networking events for the elite. Every drink, every conversation, every connection had a purpose. And somewhere in that mix was Prince Andrew.
Truth seeker or royal saboteur? Every royal household, no matter how polished or perfect.
That world, the Mediterranean yacht circuit, was its own universe. The same faces, the same ports, the same power players. And one man, Marcus Anderson, knew them all. He was the bridge, Soho House executive, global connector, the kind of guy who could arrange a meeting in Monaco and a dinner in London before the sun went down. He met Meghan, saw her potential, and opened the door to a world she'd never accessed before. They became close, really close. And through Marcus came introductions, powerful, influential ones, including one to Sarah Ferguson herself. Think about that. Fergie, the fallen Duchess, the comeback queen, the eternal insider, even when she's officially out. Getting Fergie's attention meant a direct line into royal circles. And Fergie, she liked Meghan, brought her into her orbit. Suddenly, Meghan was showing up in rooms she had no business being in until now, because Fergie's connections ran deep, and at the same time, Andrew was gliding through those same elite scenes, the same summer yachts, the same social circles. Their worlds overlapped more than once. The same names kept appearing on guest lists, the same faces, turning up at the same parties, and while nobody kept receipts, the whispers got louder. People saw Meghan, they saw Marcus, they saw Fergie, and then, suddenly, Meghan was dating Prince Harry. Coincidence? Hardly. Marcus built the bridge, and Fergie, she opened the gate. Word of that Mayfair dinner didn't stay in London for long. By sunrise in California, Harry's phone was lighting up like fireworks, buzz after buzz. And when he read what had happened, he lost it. Not because it came from the press, but because it came from family. Someone he'd known his whole life had just thrown his wife into the fire. He'd left Britain to protect Meghan from exactly this, the whispers, the stories, the relentless judgment. But you can't run from something when it's coming from the inside. Within hours, what started as a quiet dinner had turned into a full-blown international scandal. And Meghan, she went silent, vanished. No appearances, no statements, no photos, nothing. And that silence, it spoke volumes. Because in the public eye, silence doesn't mean grace. It means guilt. Every day she stayed quiet, the rumors grew teeth. Every cancellation felt like confirmation. She was damned if she spoke and damned if she didn't. Fergie's 7 words had undone years of image building. Meanwhile, across the ocean, Fergie was living her best life, smiling for cameras, attending events, unbothered, like she hadn't just lit the royal world on fire for her evening entertainment. But make no mistake, she knew exactly what she'd done. Fergie doesn't play by accident. She plays to win. And this time, she reminded everyone exactly how dangerous she can be. Because when it comes to the royals, perception isn't just reality, it's power. One whisper can shift an entire reputation overnight. And that dinner comment? It was the spark that lit the fuse. By morning, the royal grapevine was burning. Every palace aide, every journalist with a source, every gossip site, everyone was buzzing about what Fergie had said. Let's be honest, this wasn't Fergie's first time setting off fireworks. Her story's been a roller coaster since the 80 seconds. Back then, she was the fiery, fun Duchess. People loved her. She was warm, spontaneous, real, too real for the royal mold. Then came 1992, the scandal. Those infamous photos Fergie caught in a compromising moment that became front-page news worldwide. Overnight, she went from royal sweetheart to national embarrassment. Money problems followed, debts piled up, and suddenly, she was the Duchess who couldn't stop falling. But the thing about Fergie, she always finds a way back. She clawed her way up through sheer willpower, endorsements, interviews, books, anything to stay afloat. She was shut out of weddings, sidelined from royal gatherings, treated like a bad memory. But slowly, she rebuilt, smiling wider, showing up polished, turning every setback into a comeback. So when she spoke that night at Mayfair, she didn't do it out of drunken carelessness, no. That was precision. That was experience talking. She's been humiliated before, and she learned exactly how to turn humiliation into power. Then there's Andrew. The man who's lived his whole life like consequences were a rumor. He moved through the world of luxury like it was his playground, private jets, exclusive clubs, the same yacht parties that made his reputation, and eventually nearly destroyed it. He was the eternal spare with all the perks and none of the pressure. But as time went on, his friends and his lifestyle caught up with him, one scandal after another until his name became synonymous with controversy. So when Fergie dropped Meghan's name alongside Andrew's, it wasn't random, it was brutal symmetry. Two women who rose from very different worlds, linked by one man whose reputation already carried a shadow, and she knew exactly how people would interpret that. But here's where it gets colder. Meghan had built her whole post-royal life on image control, carefully curated interviews, glowing PR, charity work, all of it designed to rewrite her story. Fergie undid it with one sentence, 7 words that pulled back the curtain on a version of Meghan the world wasn't supposed to see. The ambitious actress, the networker, the woman who understood power long before she married into it. And while the internet tore itself apart over what was true and what wasn't, Fergie didn't flinch. She kept showing up, grinning for cameras, walking red carpets, posing at charity events like nothing had happened. No apologies, no clarifications. That's what made it genius. She lit the match, and now she stood back to watch it burn. Andrew stayed silent too, not a single denial. No spokesperson rushing out statements, just silence. And in the royal world, silence is louder than words. It doesn't mean innocence, it means there's something there, something better left unsaid. The rumor had already taken shape, and his quiet only made it grow. Meanwhile, Meghan and Harry were spiraling. The phone calls, the headlines, the endless social media speculation, it was relentless. Harry had left Britain to protect her, to build peace in California, but peace doesn't exist when your past won't stay buried. It's not just gossip anymore, it's identity. Every photo, every old rumor, every grainy yacht picture floating online turned into proof. Whether real or fake didn't matter, it existed, and that was enough. For Meghan, silence became a prison. Every word she didn't say became its own story. Every public appearance that didn't happen was proof of guilt. And Harry, angry, heartbroken, and powerless, had to watch it all from across an ocean. That's the cruel thing about royal scandals, they move faster than truth ever can. And Fergie? She thrived, because this was her redemption in disguise. For years, they treated her like she didn't matter, like her time was over. But with one dinner, one whisper, she reminded them that she still had power, real power, the kind you can't strip away with titles or exile. Because Fergie doesn't need Buckingham's approval anymore. She has something more valuable knowledge. She knows the secrets, the patterns, the soft spots. She knows exactly which stories the royals pray never see daylight. That Mayfair dinner wasn't a slip, it was a reminder, a warning. I'm still here, and I still know things. And she played it perfectly. No tell-all book, no camera confessions, no tabloid deals, just a whisper in the right ear at the right time. That's how reputations collapse in royal circles, not through explosions, but through quiet detonations that echo forever. As the weeks passed, the chaos refused to fade. Meghan stayed out of sight. Harry's temper simmered beneath his smiles. And Fergie, she smiled for the cameras, unbothered, elegant, glowing with the kind of calm satisfaction that comes from knowing you've just proven you're still the most dangerous woman in the room. Because in the end, Fergie didn't just gossip, she won. She turned 7 words into a masterclass in strategic destruction. And when the dust settled, Meghan's image was cracked, Andrew's silence was damning, and Fergie, she walked away untouched, more relevant than ever. That's the brilliance of Sarah Ferguson. The crown may have slipped from her head decades ago, but she still knows how to rule. The room.